Like a few of the clips that have been shot over the last couple of days in January 2017, this one is mainly for students to review, so voiceovers. I'd actually done a few flights and it was a wee bit better lift earlier on, but I've only been up here for about half an hour at this point. The wind has swung from, it was more north-northwest, so it was passable for the slope, but you really want more northerly. It's swung now to more west-northwest. So we're getting a certain amount of turbulence from the compound with the radio mast that you can see to the right hand side, to the left hand side of the video clip here. So it's not the gantry that's far left, but the one where you can see the buildings as well. Also a few miles ahead you've got a couple of lines of hills. Eventually you've got Kinpurney. So the air at this point is a bit more disturbed. The sort of things to look out for are for the wee tip collapses, use of lots of harness control, while minimal and very slow progressive movements of hands, minimal use of the brakes. Other things to remember, doing a lot of checking of the airspace, a lot of stepping the wrong way. So you're stepping one way to set up the glider to then take you the way you want to go. So for instance here I'm stepping to the left, so the glider will then take me to the right. Probably, I can't actually remember exactly all the things that were going on at this time, but probably a couple of times I'll be doing the sort of tiptoe into launches. With the wind quite crossed, there's not really that much upslope now compared to earlier on. And again there you can see me moving to then get the glider taking me back the way I want to go. So at the moment the right hand riser is almost vertical for a second or two. One of the little cheats you can do is sometimes lean against the risers to help warp the wing to induce the side slip that brings the glider back to wherever you want it. So unfortunately the microphone's not actually picking up there. The trim speed set faster, then letting rotate round slows down the trim speed, coming in, easing on, touch. As you touch down the wing loading decreases because you've now got weight on the ground, so normally you've got to ease off quite a bit the brakes. Now you notice there's no sudden movement in the hands, glider side slips to the right there and the tip collapse on the left just pops out. So again, a good thing for students to review with this is the tips and how I'm using roll control and side slips to correct them. If I remember correctly, I also do a tip touch and you should be able to see the wing warping used to initiate the recover from the tip touch. I can't remember if it's on the next bit or if it comes in a wee while. So lots of little steps. Also notice I'm not looking up at the wing. So there, as a right-handed setup pilot, the key thing is there the left hand had to go across. Tiptoe, not putting lots of force on, let myself swing round, and give it a wee bit of brake, zooming up, yawing the wing round, and touch. Okay, let's see what the tip's going there. In the middle of the wing you can see the warping. Let's use the harness to induce side slips in the wing to move the wing to where I want it to. Right, this will be the bit where I do the tip touch. So key thing here is to look at the middle section of the wing, and there you can see the warping. So I'm letting the left hand riser wing be further away from me, puts a kink in the middle of the wing, induces a side slip, and then roll control just rolls the glider level. And it looks, nope, not, I thought I was about to do tip touch maybe to the right. Again, a lot of this is with it's getting a bit more gusty. The actual wind speed here's varied between about probably 12 knots to as much as 18 knots. And whether it's on this clip or not I don't know, but there's a bit that at the end where I actually lift up the camera and I'm pointing it down at the heather, and you can see the heather, which is fairly short at this time of year, being blown about in the wind. Unfortunately the microphone wasn't picking up the voice which I hoped. Sometimes you can do these sort of little dances and controls and comment live as you're reading the glider. A lot of the comments at the moment would be pointing out that almost all the information is coming via the risers, and virtually none of the information comes from the brakes. The brakes are only there used as a minor assist following the harness controls. Backtracking, so it'd be commenting about the fact that a negative value on your ground speed, you take the wind speed, you take the negative value of your ground speed. So if you just take the number, it's subtracting, or you can add the minus number. Either way, you end up with an airspeed that is reduced when you're backtracking. Turn round. You see, although the brakes are being used, relatively modest change in position in the hands. The actual brake tension is very, very low. You're using almost no tension, so when you see the hand coming down, you could literally do it with your small finger. And if you're just holding the triangle of the brake handle, you'd hardly see any distortion in it. Key thing is all harness control. Having a good look round, check the airspace always. Okay, so you can see the wee bits of lift and sink there. It's the extra surges from the wind. The tip line on the right there, you could probably notice the tip line was going soft. Again, you're not looking at it, there's none of this pumping of the brakes, it's using the harness to roll the glider level. Yeah, look like the right tip is floating in there. I'm looking around and checking. Again, there's that bit. So I'm going for a tip touch there, possibly dropping the wing, possibly recover, I'm not sure. Okay, so showing hand will be going up to check for the control that I've released. And there's the wing rolled the other way. And tip touching. There again you can see the big warping control as I'm using the harness to recover the wing. I'm deflecting the airflow across the span. And rolling it level, and then just a small damp of the brake on the right hand side in this case, as the wings rolled level via the harness. Okay, we're coming to the end of the clip. So yeah, going for the safety risers and just settling the wing back down. Yep, so this might be the bit where wing's dead. It's slightly over the back of the raised ground at the trig point, and the may point coming down.
Oh no. You